All right, so good day, guys. So today we are looking at components, and this is something that I've explained and told us to read on, and we have looked at it when we're looking at our Framer learning parts. But this time around, we'll be looking at components in relation to product design or digital product design. I'll just try to give like some explanations, and then I expect that if we have any questions, we can ask, and then we can also like continue to go and read up basically. So components. Okay, so let me first ask, Aisha, can you help us? What are components? Have you heard about the word component before?
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry.
Okay, are you saying something?
Sorry, I wanted to move away from the noise. Yeah, okay, components. This what I know. I've heard of components. They're basically reusable, let's say things that you know that they will occur a lot of times in your design process. So instead of you to keep on designing them every time you need it, you create them as components. So you can just pick and drop it wherever you need it.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. You're very correct. So, like you said, components are like reusable elements. There are things that, if you know use it more than once, it's better for you to make it a component. And this applies both to like no-code design. For instance, with Framer, you can also create components, and even digital product design. So, like when you are designing maybe mobile app, maybe websites, you would want to create components. So, components are specific to their use cases. For instance, if you're working on a web project now, some things that will form your components. For instance, you can create FAQ as a component, maybe your cards as a component, your buttons definitely as a component, maybe your carousel. Like there are things that, or your footer, yes, your navigation, your footer, those are the things that you want to make components. Why? Because you'll be using them more than once. So that's like the use case for components. And also, I said that why components? Like you have rightly said, if you begin to look at design from a component perspective, which is what modular thinking is, you discover that most times it will make your work easier. So, and it also make your work faster. For instance, you want to work on a fintech app. What are like components that you will need? I'm asking the question. Can you give me one example of a component you need if you're working on a fintech application?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. An example of components you might need in your app, first of all, is buttons because you would need buttons. Well, in most apps have buttons and they occur in different places. So you would need components for that.
Okay.
Another thing that I know is usually used in apps. I'm thinking of mobile apps now, is like navigation bars.
Mhm.
So yeah, navigation bars we use them a lot in
Oh, okay.
like application.
Okay.
What else? Card design here. For example, let me use an app like LinkedIn, for example. The way their news feed is, all of the posts and um, things that like people's posts, it has the same look and feel. So that would be a component that they will use. Yeah. So I think those are some of the components you use for an app.
Okay. So yeah, you're very correct. And like I said, the next thing I wrote here was modular thinking. And so modular thinking is a way of working on a project from a component perspective. For instance, if you are working on a fintech app, let me just pull up this particular screen. So this is like, I'm using AI to work on this, but let me just show you. So can you see my screen? Can you see what I'm showing now? Can you see this wallet balance? Can you see that? Okay, yeah. So I just ran this thing with DeepSeek. I just wanted to just practice on like UI basically and see like how I can design and make things better. And I said, okay, let me show you the prompt. Okay, let me just run up. So I gave it a prompt though that should help me to. Okay, yes. I said I want to rework some UI components for a finance app. I told you to use blue as the primary color. I said create components for sending money, receiving money, saving beneficiary, wallet cards, another one important component. And then I told you to build it and stuff like that. My point is the reason why I said you should create all these components, I said for sending money. there is no how that you not need a component for sending money in a fintech app. And that's why when you begin to think like in the way of component or modular thinking, it will be easy for you to turn a mobile app to a web app. Why? Because the flow is usually the same. If you log into, for instance, assuming you use Kuda or any bank that you use, if you log into their web app, like using your laptop, and you check what is on your phone, it's mostly very similar. Like it's the same flow, same button, same fields, like the same thing. So that if you think about design from a component perspective, it'll make your life very easy. And that's why I was just working on this. I was playing with this particular like design. I just wanted to just get better at practice. And I told it to him generate some like key screens. So as you can see here, this one is wallet balance. It's something that you most likely use in every fintech app. I told you to generate how to send money, like a sending money flow. So you can see send money, amount, recipient, from accounts, notes. This, even if I wanted to make a web app, I will still need this particular component, like it's reusable. And that's how to think, like, so that before you think about the entire app, if you think about it like small, small pieces, you can build very fast and you can build like speed basically. Also, you can see how to receive money. This is just what he came up with. And let me see on that one again. Okay, how to add beneficiary. You can see how these guys came up with their own. And I wrote transaction history. These are things that you would always use. It doesn't matter whatever fintech industry or whatever application it is, you always see transaction history. I wrote here, okay, these are like quick actions. For instance, let's say like Kuda, all those other banks, they usually have like quick actions basically. There are things that you generally see. Okay, budget overview too. Some banks also have like some bank application. My point is that, for instance, with all these components, if I actually wanted to build a fintech app, I already have all I need. Like, because if you put all these things together, it's like having like a full screen already. Like when you have your card, like imagine like a random fintech app. You have your card, you have your quick actions, you have your recent actions, and you're already good to go. That's already one page. And before you know it's easy to build. So basically, that's why components are important because it helps you to like build very fast, and then it helps you to like think in modular thinking, like basically just break things down to their smallest bits. It's easier for you to break them down and design in their smallest bits. Then you can now add them up together and then you can move very fast. So that's why we like use components. So basically, like I said, I gave us some assignments and I hope that we have done that. But like, let me just show some things I wanted us to quickly do. I wanted to, okay, so this is that particular screen that I brought up. This was me trying to like break it down like design wise, although I've gone far, but okay, let me just copy and see if I can. Let me see. Um, I'm coming. Let me just copy some screens from what I was working on. I'll delete them later, but let me just show us. This is the way I like practice like normally. So let me just show us. Like those screens that I showed you now on this DeepSeek. Let me just copy and paste. Okay, yeah. Let me change the background to black so you can see. So like all those cards I showed you, this was me just trying to like layer them out. So this is a another way to build with like AI basically, or to build fast basically. So I didn't know what I was looking for. I knew I was going to have a card like this. I knew I was going to use send money. I knew I was going to do receive money. Like I already knew what I was going for. So what I just did in design was I was trying to design it. So that's why you can have one design but different interpretation. In this case, what I was doing was I was imagining that okay, assuming you have just one balance, how will you show it? Assuming you have two, how will you show it? Assuming you have three, how would you show it? This is just one component. Also, I did that for that send money. This was my own interpretation, like how to send money. So from which account, the amount, and then maybe the beneficiary, like based on who you have been sending money to. And then, for instance, that additional note, this is just my own way of interpreting it. And then maybe you want to change the beneficiary, you can just change it here. And then let me see. Okay, you can receive money too. Like I was still working on this one. I'm not yet done. My point is that we can think of okay, yeah, transaction history. So I just worked on this one. I got all of this from this particular design that's like everything that is here. I just interpreted it differently. So it's still the same thing we are trying to say. Let me just delete it and then let me go back to the one for today. So yeah, this is WhatsApp. And based on these screens, can you tell me components that you can see that they are using? Let me delete this one. I'm coming. So this is WhatsApp. Can you tell me any component that they are using, like based on this screen or based on your WhatsApp application? Are there components that you think that, or things that you can call component apart from buttons? What else can you refer to as a component based on what we have just said?
Sorry, I thought I was on mute there. The chat, yeah, I can see that. Like for each chat, each person's chat, they all look alike, so it's most likely a company. The navigation bar is a company. The badges, like the all on red, um, the third one, I think is design. I don't
Oops.
know. The third one,
Okay.
um, oh, good, sorry, my eye. I'm not wearing my glasses, so I can't really see. Yeah, so those three, they are components. I think those are mostly the components there.
All right. Taiwo, can you see what I'm showing? Like, do you want to help? Are there components that she has not mentioned that you can see from this design or from WhatsApp?
Well, I think she has mentioned the ones that I could notice as well, like the chat, the navigation, and also yeah,
Yeah, okay. This search bar is also
this
a component.
yes, search, yeah, search bar.
Also, even your status is actually a component.
Which
Your,
one?
I mean, your status, like when you, I took a screenshot. Let me see. Oh, yeah. This status is actually a component. You can see that it's actually the same thing. The only thing that is changing here is just the name of the person and the time. But like it's the same build. Like, I don't know if you get my point. It's not
Yes, I understand.
is a component. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to just create like a simple okay, yes. So that's like everything to component. And the assignment was for us to work on components from any of your favorite app, like any app that you use. And I'm expecting that we'll do that and submit soon. And then to go ahead of myself, the next thing was supposed to be interaction, micro interaction. Like I said, okay, we'll touch it in detail next week, but just to give us some heads up, I wanted to create this one and just like a simple interaction. So let me just quickly create. I hope that I have enough time. Um, I just want to replicate this and I'll replicate one of these charts actually. Let me just replicate one of these charts and see how it goes. I just want to show us like simple. There are different ways to go around it. So, but let's just uh, uh, uh I just want to show us simple something that is simple, not too complex. Let's do 18. Let's do inter. Okay, let me just use style. Sorry, just let me use funny name. Don't worry, we'll change it later. Let me see. Okay, let me now use the some here. I just want to just show us something, just something simple. Let me see. I can do like I'm not calculating this thing well, so just pardon me. I'm using like a particular guide. Uh, Let me do that for screenshot, right? Based on this side, it should be about 48. Correct. Okay. All right. Should be about 40. Mm. No, based on this, we put this thing here. 16, 16. Okay. Yes, okay. We have it. Right. Uh, 16. And then we just need to, let me try to simulate one of these ones. Okay, 815. So, okay, so, okay, so let me just put this one here. Okay, so we are good to go. Let me change the background to white. Okay, so they usually write like messages that we also used to be on top. So just give me a moment or let's just get this. Let's see. Actually, that more like 20, 33 or something. Um, ask me that AI chat. Ask. Come in, let's that. Where have I been to? Not search, but just search. Let's go like 24. I hope that my time is not over. Like 20. You know, when I was just like, oh, if we, okay, let me just trying to simulate as much as I can since you start from the beginning. So, okay. Yes, I think I'll be to be honest. Should be only like 20. Miss what space like. Okay, let's just keep it like this. So we don't overdo it. Okay, let me create another one for this one. So, let's do like 20. Anything like 1. Okay, just want to do a simple interaction and then we're good to go. Let's see. Like 12. All right, what is this content here? Um, uh, yes, do you have something similar to this thing? Oh, you used that or something. How do we do it? Something is missing, but let me see so I can fix it first. Let's concentrate a bit. Okay, Colin, I'm just trying to finish up. Let's see, why is it not? Let me see, what's that image? What's that image plugin again? There's one they call, what's the name of this plugin? What's the name of this plugin?
Content reel.
Not content tree, that one that can give only picture. Content tree is taking time. What they call that instead? What do you say?
Is it on Slack?
Yes, it's on Splash. I don't change the picture. I don't know why it's taking so. I don't know why it's taking too long, but maybe we'll just let me just use random pictures. We'll manage this one. Okay. Let's just assume that these pictures are real people. There's just one thing that I did not do. So I'll need to break this auto layout again. But let me just put line just do this one helps. Like one picture. All right, I think that this works. Let's see. It's too much. Actually, one. Okay. I think we can still manage this one. I just need to move it to the it's going to work like not going to work like that. Okay, let me see. I'm trying to simulate what these guys have already. Okay, let's just manage it like this. I think this one works. So I think we can work with this. So we assume that this is like our normal WhatsApp chat that we usually use. I just want to do like a simple interaction. So like this normal one where you slide and things, let me see. Okay, should work now. Let me see. So just a simple prototype. I want to remove. Okay, let me make this one different. Let me make this one color red so that we just see that it's not same. Let me see. Right. So just pardon me. Let me Okay, let's change it again. I just want to create a simple micro interaction. There are different types. Because of time, I would not be able to show all of them, but let me just start with this one. So I just want to drag this one, and when I slide it, it should delete from this one. And then this one should automatically, like, there are how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Instead of 7, we're going to have 6. So you just, I know we probably not prototype, but let me just, so on drag, that's what we're going to do. On drag, when you drag it, okay, wait up here. On drag, then this one should delete. Or you can just hide it actually. Just change it to 0. No, okay, no. Just hide. Okay, let's see if it works. Um, oh, okay. It's not. It's working, but I don't know how to simulate it. You need to use your phone basically. It actually worked. I don't know if you noticed, but as I'm dragging it has already gone as I dragged it here. But my point is, let me go back again. So basically, because it's on drag, like once you drag it, I just dragged it. That's why like it left. It would be easier or it would be nicer if you could do with your phone. So like there are different types of interaction. My time is already spent. We know that there is on over, like there are different types. If it was a button now, let me just get a button. So just let me, what am I doing? Let me it shouldn't be like this. Button. A, let me see, 200. Let me see. Perfect. Okay, so let me just use this button as a text, and we can see that. Oh, okay. It will be harder to do it here, but let's just try instead. It will be easier for you to create a component and then animate instead of you to. But we can just say, okay, normal one, let's just do normal one. There are two types. We can actually make a component out of this and do the micro interaction within the component, or we can just animate it like this. So for instance, I want to move from this screen to this screen. I can do a prototype and say like these are like basic stuff, but let me just on click. When you click on this one, come to this screen. And if you play this particular prototype, like if you select it and then let me see. Okay, yeah, if you select it and then you play and you click on this button, it comes here. That's just one way to look at it. And then if you put it within a state, like for instance, if you make this one a component, I hope you okay. So I don't do what we already know. But we understand like different states of button. We have done it before, isn't it? Like overt state, disabled state, loading states, active, focus. I'm sure we have I mentioned that in the article that we did. We have gone through that, isn't it? I'm asking for feedback.
Yes.
Like we understand different states of button. Let me just it was in our medium article.
We discussed it.
What do you say?
I said we discussed it.
Okay, yes. So basically, let me just wrap up here. There's a lot to look at when it comes to micro interaction, but our time is fast spent. Like I said, I think the assignment still stands that we can pick our favorite app and then just create components. Like it will not take you too much of time because I just created it like on this call, less than 10 or 15 minutes. This is one component, for instance. This message, this whatever, this search something is also a component. In fact, if you look at iOS kits, these two things are actually component on iOS Kit. If anybody has explored it before, like iOS Kit on Figma, like for instance, if you look at iPhones, you notice that all this on the like Apple's app itself, all this stuff like they look alike. Like there's that blue stuff. Like if you check all the normal default iPhone apps, they have like a way they look like their headers, like this navigation on top. It's actually like a defined component basically. So I think we'll just stop here. So I don't like really go to the but basically our goal is that you understand what components are. You can recognize them when you see them. And also, like I mentioned, like when you're working on projects, you can begin to think like modular thinking, like thinking in components. So you can break down an entire fintech app, like I showed us earlier, that you can break down an entire fintech app into like major components. Like this one I just showed us here, you can see that. Why is thing taking time? But yeah, I showed us earlier that for a fintech app like this, in this case, you can see like transaction history, like beneficiary, receive money, send money, wallet card. These are things that you have irrespective of which bank app it is, even irrespective of the platform, even if it's a web app or whatever it is, you need it. So, like if you already designed this one, like the one I showed us earlier, it will be easier for you to just move it from a mobile app to a web app and nothing will change, like because it's the same thing. And I gave the instance that when you log into, for instance, any of your bank app, like Kuda, for instance, compare your web app with your mobile app. It's actually the same thing. It's just different arrangement, but it's the same thing, like same flow, same components. They're just reusing it. So that's the use case for components. So I'll just wrap up here. Does anybody have any questions or anything that you want to say? Anybody has any questions? Or I know I didn't touch on so many things because of time, but does anybody have any questions or something you want to say?
To say from my side.
Okay, all right. Aisha, what about you? Do you have any questions?
No, I do not.
All right. Okay, so again for the assignment, because I've still not seen our submission, only Aisha has submitted. Again, I said that we should pick any of our favorite apps that we use and create components from them. I said you should create about five, at least five components. And for components that have states, I said we can also create those components. So like only one person has submitted. So please let's do well to submit. That's one. Number two is that I said that for the components that we should add micro interactions to it, and only one person to also submitted. So please let's work on that. Like what I just did, for instance, as simple as moving between navigation, like that thing at the bottom, for instance, in WhatsApp, like clicking on this thing and they are reacting. Those are micro interaction. So you can submit, for instance, WhatsApp, this navigation as a component, and then for the interaction, just show okay, when you click on update, what happens, when you click on calls, what happens. Like I mean, like how do the icons respond? For instance, in this case, you can see that the interaction here is just switching between the outline and the field states. Like that's what is actually just happening here. That's a micro interaction. So please, I want us to like work on it because it's pending. Like we're already lagging behind. There are many things to actually still look at. So that's what we're going to do for our assignment. So if you have any backlogs, please clear your backlogs and then submit as soon as possible because we could not post for some time now because I had not gotten like submissions for this particular assignment. So please let's try to work on it. And I feel like that's basically all. Does anybody have anything they want to say, or do you understand the assignment now? All right, I'm guessing that we understand. Okay, so no problem. So that we don't take too much of time. Thank you guys for joining. Like I said, components are very important, and modular thinking is also very important. How to think about things from a component perspective. If you have seen most of designers that you admire, for instance, maybe like Layer, for instance, and other senior designers, you see how they build. Most times they don't show you like everything at the same time. They will start with like, okay, maybe a card, maybe a button, maybe a step or a modal, like all those step one, step two, those different ways, maybe a tab. Those are ways to think in component because if you get it right at that point, it's easier for you to just pack everything together and integrate into a mobile app and you're good to go. Like the one I just shared with us now, that all these things already form the basis for any fintech app. It doesn't matter if it's a web app or a mobile app. These are like things that you use. It doesn't matter the app. Send money. Like if you piece all these things together, you can actually have a fully working mobile fintech app. Just put your card here, then put your quick actions that I did here. Where's that one? Put quick actions here. Put recent transaction. That's already your own page. Then for your send money as a navigation, you can have maybe this one here. Where is it? This send money. Maybe if it's a crypto app, receive money. Like and simple, you're already done. And it can work irrespective of the platform, like web or mobile. So please let's try to read up. I'll publish the article this week so we can read up and have better understanding. But let's do our own research. Like I said, create your components and then add interactions to them. I will try to drop some links to like Figma interactions that are easy, but I'm guessing that we'll probably have like some idea and we can do our own research basically to get like more understanding and be able to like come up with something nice. So yeah, thank you guys for joining. Let's have a wonderful week. If nobody has any other thing they want to say, thank you and enjoy the rest of your day. So thank you. Thank you, Aisha. Thank you, Tayo.
Bye. Good night.
Thank you. Good night. All right. Thank you.